What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow, as I have some very important warnings for all NIO investors, because tomorrow could actually see a little bit of red for the overall market and NIO. I'm going to talk about why on earth that is, what the market is essentially showing for NIO, what the options chain is showing for NIO, and also what NIO put on their Twitter page that still is incredibly bullish news for the long-term future, despite the red we may end up seeing for the next couple of days. Now, before I break anything down for NIO, before I talk about what under the technicals are showing, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the WeBull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for WeBull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed 6 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000, and you could always sell these 6 free stocks for cash and use that cash to buy some NIO shares for free. And this limited time offer that ends in just 2 days. Once again, it's almost over. Check it out. 2 days are left to get those 6 free stocks. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So when it comes to NIO, we're down about 2.57% for the day. Now, but the reason why the market is kind of performing like this, it kind of dropped even harder than many of us had anticipated, especially as it was looking pretty darn bullish. But that did appear to be a bit of a trap, as the market did end up getting a big hit from the SPY, the NASDAQ, and almost everywhere left and right, because we have big pieces of data coming out involving GDP and the PCE price index from the BEA coming out very soon in the next 2 days. Tomorrow, particularly is going to involve GDP more, and Thursday will involve the PCE. And right now, a lot of investors are very, very concerned and very kind of apprehensive, especially after we have big figures like Cathie Wood saying that we are in a recession right now, in her opinion. So with all these pieces of news coming out, right, they all play their role. Right now, there's some fear that's kind of driving the markets, and there are a lot of big institutions kind of like hedging for the potential downside that may end up coming. Now, this doesn't mean that the market is just going to crash for the next few weeks. It doesn't necessarily mean that. We still have hope for a bit of a bounce, but I do have some very important warnings for you. So when we look at the SPY, check this out right here. I mentioned to you guys this yesterday. If the SPY dropped below that 385 level, and I drew this out right here, I told you it would get pretty bad if this thing ended up dropping, and that is what ended up happening. So I did warn you. I didn't predict that this would happen, but sometimes you just have to be prepared. Now, what's interesting is we're seeing the SPY drop like this, right? But we have this gap down here. I mentioned this as well. I didn't see this as being an extremely probable gap fill for today alone, but I did prepare you for this as a possibility. This would take the SPY down to that 378 level, maybe a little bit lower, and right now we're just $2 away from that. So to me, it's looking like we're most likely going to fill that gap and hopefully get a bounce off 376, 375, somewhere along those lines. I'm hoping we get a nice bounce, but right now it does look like the SPY is going to continue to see some downside for tomorrow before the bounce comes, and that's essentially what the charts are showing in the most simple manner possible. Now, when we go down here, okay, let me find the NASDAQ. Very, very similar story, whether you're looking at the NASDAQ or the QQQ. The NASDAQ actually filled its gap, but it continued to see some downside. And if the whole market continues to see even more downside, then the NASDAQ will most likely continue. And we do have another major gap way down here, but I don't necessarily think it's going to get filled. It's very unlikely as of right now. We could get a bounce in this key support zone around that 11,000 mark. So that's a key zone to look out for when it comes to the NASDAQ. We're near the potential bounce zone. If we can't hold that 11,000 range, then it's very possible for us to fill the gap way down here to that 10,800. And that in turn, if that is the case, would bring a lot of tech stocks, including NIO and Tesla, down. It most likely will. So what does this mean for NIO? Well, right now, the NASDAQ does look like it has a little bit downside, but it's very close to that potential bounce zone. Is it guaranteed to bounce? Not necessarily, but it's very possible it will. So for NIO, what you're noticing is it almost looks like it's forming a head and shoulders right here. We have a shoulder, a head, and another shoulder. So it's looking like it looks kind of bearish in my opinion, because one of the things you'll notice if you're watching NIO on a day-to-day basis is there have been days where the SPY drops hard. NIO doesn't drop that hard the same day. Then the next day comes, regardless of what the SPY does, NIO then drops really hard. And I'm not trying to scare you, that's just a pattern I noticed. Very, very strange. And what's interesting is the SPY dropped like, what was that? 2%. The NASDAQ was down almost 3%. And considering that NIO is a stock that's notorious for having a positive beta, theoretically it should have been down like 6% at least. Instead, NIO was down about 2.57%. No, I'm not saying NIO is a bad company. It has to drop or anything like that. I'm saying this based off what technicals show and what the price does, because I'm still insanely bullish for this company. I believe in it. I can't wait for what its future holds, but that doesn't mean that just because it's going to be huge in the future, just because I see the share price soaring in the next couple of months, couple of years, right? It doesn't mean that there's not going to be downside. And I do think downside is very likely. The gap fill down here is most likely going to come soon, in my opinion. This would bring NIO down to that, let me see, around that 20.8 something dollar level. So around the 20s. So NIO is most likely going to drop to the high 20s relatively soon. I mean, we can already see this head and shoulders forming. I'm not losing faith in the company. It's just what the technicals are essentially showing. So what do you need to look out for when it comes to this price action? Because so far today, what's very interesting is NIO held up very well. We actually held $22 a share. Now, typically when NIO does this, that would be a good sign, but I don't want to look at it that way. This could just be a delay compared to when it's actually going to drop. So here's what I think you should be prepared for. So tomorrow, a more bearish perspective would be the SPY, the NASDAQ, they have some potential for downside. So NIO might actually start to drop. We want to see NIO hold that $22 level, right? It's been holding it very strongly, for the last couple of hours. And it's possible it holds it, but if the market drops hard enough, and if we continue the pattern that we have seen from the past, because I mentioned, typically when the SPY drops hard, NIO doesn't always drop on the same day. It doesn't start dropping until like the day after. That's when NIO might start to see some downside. If it breaks below $22, that's the key zone. If it breaks it, we're most likely going to see a big drop down to that 20.86 level, kind of like this. Hopefully we get a bounce close to it. Maybe 20.5 should be our bounce zone. Hopefully around there. So I think that this is most likely what is going to come for tomorrow. And this is essentially what I am predicting. Now, what would be a more bullish perspective? I mean, I am an optimistic person. I do think it's unlikely that we're going to be super bullish tomorrow, but the key zone to look out for would be that $24 level and that 24.5, but then that's close to where NIO's peak was in the inverse head and shoulders. So like I said before, very unlikely we actually go that high. If we do, just look out for that 24 mark, okay? I mean, I just don't see how that's going to happen. I just want to prepare you for it anyways. Look out for that 23, see if we get rejected off that. And that could be what actually triggers more downside later on, like this move here. But if the market somehow miraculously and out of nowhere starts to push up, then it is possible for NIO to do this. Once again, very unlikely. I know anyone could say it'll go up or down. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's very unlikely that I see a move like this. It is possible, but it's very, very unlikely. But I just want to talk about what the key zones are, what you really got to look out for, what a more bullish and bearish perspective is. And once again, this would be a more bullish perspective. Very unlikely, like I said before. Sometimes the market could be unpredictable, but I just don't see this happening. We're most likely going to see this right here, the red line, NIO dropping down and filling the gap at $20. I really believe that's most likely what is going to happen. But with that out of the way, I want to talk about something else that's important, okay? A few news articles are talking about how they believe NIO plays basically accounting games to inflate their revenue and boost their net income margin to meet the targets. And I want to actually address this. So, although it is a possibility, right, this is not 100% guaranteed. Because it says it right here, NIO is likely using an unconsolidated related party to exaggerate revenue and profitability. So here's my view of this. I don't know if this is true or not, and no one can say that this is true, right? This is just speculation. But I want to say something about it. At the end of the day, NIO is expanding their customer base. They're expanding their brand. They're building more cars. They're delivering more. They're still growing. The growth is still real. There's a real aspect to their deliveries, their revenue, and things like that. So, regardless of what critics try to say, like, I don't know if it's real or not. If it is real, I condemn it, but I don't see any conclusive evidence of these claims being true. If Regardless of that being the case or not, I'm still very bullish. I think the company has a bright future, and I see lots of growth and expansion that will reflect the share price later on once the market improves. With that out of the way, when it comes to their options chain, I'm not seeing potential for a gamma squeeze right now. Just to kind of inform you guys, there are way more calls out of the money than in the money, so I'm not seeing a massive move to the upside for this week unless something changes. But as of right now, we're not seeing that. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is this right here. NIO Global tweeted that as a pioneer and leading manufacturer of premium smart EVs, NIO has listened to our users' concerns and implemented an infrastructure to reduce security risks in our vehicles. So once again, NIO has invested a lot in cybersecurity risk development, and they're really actually helping to address these issues. They're really improving cybersecurity. They've been rewarded many times. And once again, another very bullish catalyst because their cars are so great in so many ways. And I really think that the customer base is going to love it and for many years to come. With that out of the way, yeah, we were most likely going to see this Trump right here, the one I highlighted. We're most likely going to fill the gap down to 20.8. I think that's very probable. If it doesn't happen today, it most likely, not today, I mean tomorrow, it could also happen on by Thursday. At the end of the day, it's a short-term prediction. The long term is still bullish. I do believe NIO will break all-time highs within the next 2 years. I'm still very bullish. So give the company time, remain calm, cool, and collected, and I will see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, and peace out.